Hey guys, what we're going to do today is we're going to spool up an electric reel. I've got a Daiwa Tanacom 1000 here. I chose Power Pro braided, got 100-pound tests, and got myself a big spool because I've got to do a couple different reels today. What I found is really nice about the Tanacoms is that instead of having a backing, you can still put, electrical tape, you can still put mono if you want on the back. But what's nice about these guys is if you look right here, they've got this little knob on there that you can attach a line to really easy, and that stops your slippage and that'll keep your drag going. So you don't actually need to have backing on here. So take a slip knot, uni, whatever kind of knot you'd like, put it around very simply, go ahead and pull down till it's nice and tight. And I like to just make sure it's tight, okay? And then once it's good and tight, always remember to come back, pull your line straight, because I've made this mistake where it's not straight, it gets hooked around the outside and then snaps too. If you're using roller guides, just make sure that it goes right through, especially on this kind of power, and you won't snap your line off and end up having to make 15 different retakes on a YouTube video. Okay, so from here, what I like to do is, number one, on the side, this drag is a knob which is set for the level wind or for the worm wind, okay? When you're doing this and spooling online, you want to back this completely off. So you'll hear that, and then when it stops, you're good, it's free. All that is for is when you're dropping your line into the water, it's gonna, take the tension on the level wind and then not let it, free spool and go to hell. So what you want to do is take off the tension there, because it's just going to fight against this while we're spooling it on. We don't need that. The next thing is you want to set your drag on the outside of your reel here. Go ahead and just, give it a few clicks so that it does have some good drag to it, because you're pulling against tension. You want to wrap that really nice and tight. When you're using a line like Power Pro or some of the higher end braids, they don't really compress very well, because they're already very, very tiny in diameter and very solid. But when you're using mono, when you're using a larger diameter braid, you're going to want to really make sure that that's tight, because if not, at the end, when you're getting through it, you'll have kind of a fluffy packing, and then you'll go ahead and pull tight. It'll cut right down into it, and then you'll end up with just a big old rat's nest. Okay, so from here, you don't need to do anything at this point. All we need to do is we need to take a super high-tech way of keeping tension on your spool. What I found is the good old wooden spoon works the best with a glove, okay? Because you can keep tension on one side. All right, it's all straight and ready. And what we want to do is, with the lever here, you want to slowly engage the lever. You'll hear it start to go, and you'll see numbers start popping up. As those numbers start popping up, you're going to want it to get to a 4 to 8 is where you're going to want to be on your tension, okay? So increase your tension in your drag and give it some more tension. Okay, you saw that 5.5 pop up there? So I'm holding it too tight. Okay, so if I let go, it goes up. If I hold it tighter, it starts coming down. So you want to start giving yourself more drag, a bunch of drag. Until you can get that number. As you can see, it's coming down. I'm trying to do it nice and slow here so you can see. So you want to be between 4 and 8, okay? And then you can play with it to try and get yourself that 6, 7. I usually like that 6 or 7 going forward. So you can play with it and go as slow or as fast as you want. Now it is going to take some time, especially when you're winding on, you know, a good 1,000+ meters. But when you start getting into those bigger fights and that more pressure on those fish pulling up, you're definitely not going to want it cutting into your massive spool. So you got to keep it under that 8. That's the goal. That magic number is keep it under the 8. Okay, so for right now, I'm going to back off this. I'll probably be sitting here for a good half an hour or so playing with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the drag really set tight, all the way tight, and then I'm going to just jack up the speed and try and not burn my hands. I'll check back with you in a little bit. All right, 28 minutes later, we ended up with 750 yards of 100-pound Power Pro. It was about 100 yards more than the manual was saying. Maybe I overwound it, but I think we're pretty good. I think I got the tension pretty solid throughout. I think when I look back, the Power Pro is such a high-quality line, and it's so finely made that the diameter is a lot less than the average lines, because I was trying to Google and see other braids, and other braids just have a wider diameter. So we ended up with 750 yards, went on relatively easy. Just go easy on your level you know, intake when you're starting off. Once you get going, I held it at about 20 to 25 meters per minute, and it just screamed in very, very quick. We can't wait to get out on the water and see what happens, and hope you enjoyed.